ACC play is kicking off this weekend at Scott Stadium. The Wahoos at home for the first time since the season opener against Richmond. This Saturday, it will be Louisville in town. The Cavaliers trying to get off to a 1-0 start for the third time in 3 years under head coach Bronco Mendenhall in ACC play. We are joined by the ball hawk Ahmad Hawkins, as we are every week here in studio. And if you watched last week, you heard this guy stumping pretty hard for Jordan Ellis to get the football more against Ohio last week, and that seemed to work out pretty well for the Hoos.
Yeah, it worked out. Coach and I guess you listen to me, but they always say, man, you just put your suggestion in the suggestion box. Coach and I don't know if he paid attention, but
I'd like to believe
that probably was the game plan. You know, just looking at the film of Ohio, just realizing that you could get some movement on their defensive line, and Jordan Ellis hit the hole, scored on his first carry, and then broke for a 70-yard. He showed some will, so maybe that will influence more time for Jordan Ellis to eat.
Now the ball, you can only split the ball around so much. We saw Lamade go off, set that school record for receiving yards. Bryce Perkins throwing the ball. How can this offense maintain that kind of explosiveness now going into ACC play?
Well, you know, just staying the course. I think the one thing about Bryce Perkins is he takes what the defense gives him. He doesn't force anything. And the great thing about Lamade Zaccheaus is that he makes something small into a big explosive thing. You know, the two big catches that he did have, they were just basically 5-yard outs. Well, the first was a 5-yard, the second one was just a hitch route. He came back to the football, took it to the house. But you got to think, Tavares Kelly hasn't gotten involved yet. Joe Reed hasn't gotten involved yet. So those are two additional explosive players that we do have in the bag. And it's just all about rhythm and just taking what the defense gives us.
So that brings us now to this weekend, and Louisville here in town. Obviously, Hoos have lost the last couple to Louisville, but they're favored going into this game on Saturday. ACC opener for both. Are you surprised to see UVA favored going into this game?
I'm not surprised, just because Louisville is having issues at the quarterback position. They'll be starting a young quarterback in Cunningham who reminds us of Lamar Jackson. And if you remember 3 years ago when we were here, no, 2 years ago when we were here, we kept Lamar Jackson bottled up in the pocket because we played a lot of coverage. So we're going to force this young guy to throw the football. He's very dynamic running the football. He ran for over 100 yards last week. So you got to keep him in the pocket and force him to make sound timing throws and just contain him.
In your ball hawk days, you're going against a redshirt freshman quarterback, a guy who doesn't have a lot of experience. How much are you just licking your chops?
Yeah, man, you licking your chops, but you don't want to bait him and get beat. The thing about young quarterbacks is you want to show him something pre-snap to influence him to think that he has a matchup, snap the ball, you jump into something different. But it all starts up front with Chris Peace and Snowden coming off the edge. Zandier did a great job filling in for Malcolm Cook, so it's going to be interesting seeing that rotation. But the main thing is it's not a drop-off, and Malcolm Cook is not playing in the middle.
And then obviously just the significance of this is a Louisville program, highly regarded, obviously not quite where it was the last couple of years, but the significance of maybe opening up ACC play with a win like that, what would that mean?
Oh, it's huge because you continue your winning ways. You drop one to Indiana that you should have won. You bounce back last week versus Ohio. Many expected that, but now you're in ACC play. You want to start off 1-0 in the ACC. It's very important, very imperative. The Coastal is wide open, so you definitely have to get this game because it's also at home.